Roguelikes are fun. So fun in fact that I personally think that they're the most entertaining genre of video game that have ever graced the earth. And while there are an abundance of different roguelikes on the market these days, some of which I'll be making videos on in the coming weeks, today I will be discussing the more recent and absolutely insane gaming experience known as Roboquest. If you like robots, big fat arsenals, and extremely fast-paced movement, then this is absolutely the game for you. I would know because I like all of those things, and as a result this has become quite possibly my favourite game. Let's start off with a very simple story. One day, a little girl stumbles across a big guardian robot in the middle of the desert. She then teams up with him to mercilessly demolish armies of evil robots across the world, and eventually make their way to the big final boss known as the Iris, where the bloodshed suddenly comes to a halt. Put down your weapons and have a heart-to-heart conversation. Nah, just kidding, you f***ing killer. Anyways, you might be wondering, what exactly does this absolutely insane gaming experience entail? Well, it can be summed up by saying it's like if you threw Borderlands, Doom Eternal, Risk of Rain 2, Ratchet Clank, and Overwatch into a pit, but instead of fighting to the death, they all fuck each other in a massive orgy and give birth to the wonderful miracle of life that is this game. Not only is this game about taking down hundreds of evil robots, it's about doing it with f***ing style. You start off a run with a little pea-shooter pistol which, unlike some games, actually does some decent damage, rather than being the equivalent to taking a small little dehydrated piss on the foot of every enemy. You will eventually get offered more guns, and then even more guns. There is a massive variety of weapons in this game which can range from little kunai to big machine guns, to bows that just make you feel like you're playing Hanzo, to dual sawed-off shotguns, to super massive laser beams and rocket launchers. The list goes on. There are over 70 unique weapons in this game, most of which make you feel like an unstoppable tank, but some of them make you feel like a paralyzed guinea pig surrounded by snakes. And that's not all. Those guns can also have different abilities and affixes, and alt-fires, also elemental effects, which makes them even more powerful. And then, to complement these mental illness riddled weapons, you can pick up some items that give you buffs relating to the effects, such as increased explosion damage, ricocheting shock damage, faster freeze rate, higher crit chance, etc. You can get even more of these items by purchasing them from vendors in the safe zones between arenas, or by completing these corrupted challenges that usually have some sort of tricky parkour and obstacle course, most of which can be skipped entirely once you get the grappling hook. And as you progress through a run and gain enough XP by killing those pesky fedora wearing robots, you will level up and get access to upgrades, which make it so that by the end of a run, you'll be so unstoppably fast and powerful that you'll make Doomguy have a panic attack. Not only do you get upgrades for your character, but you can also upgrade your weapon too by spending power cells on this little fella here. You can even unlock the ability to reroll your affixes. Oh, is that not good enough for you? Fine, just make your way over to this little slug guy and he'll upgrade the rarity of your weapon and splash it with some perfume to give it even more buffs. I know, right? This game is f***ing ridiculous. Now, back to the items and collectibles for a sec, because there are a lot of them. From wrenches to purchase upgrades in your cam, to data logs scattered inside various nooks and crannies hidden in every map, to gadgets that let you do really cool things, like concussing your enemies by slamming your shiny metal ass down on their heads, then grapple to another enemy on a ledge 20 miles away, and then fly across half the map with your trusty jetpack. As I also mentioned earlier, there are a shitload of upgrades to choose from upon leveling up, many of which are unique to each class. Oh yeah, I forgot about the classes. Yeah, so there's 6 different types of classes in the game, which can range from Genji if he permanently had blade mode, to a drone spewing engineer, to a sorcerer who can swap between elements faster than Daniel Larson swaps emotions. The upgrades you get for each class can be general ones, such as increased fire rate and increased elemental damage, but some of them can completely change your playstyle. For example, for the Commando class, you can get a perk that reduces your weapon count to 1, but increases your damage and gives you a permanent grenade to throw every time you reload. Another example is for the Engineer, where you can get a perk that gives your weapon a permanent elemental effect, which you can then add a secondary effect to, allowing you to do fire and cryo damage simultaneously. But if you'd rather play defensively and never have to fire a single bullet bullet. With the engineer, you can also choose to upgrade the fuck out of your summons, so that by the end of a run, you have 4 drones with railguns and rocket launchers along with these silly little buddy bots who kill everything for you. Despite mentioning it a few times, I haven't gone into much detail about the enemies in this game. Like any action game, some of these enemies are the most insufferable waste of metal that you will ever encounter in your entire life, such as this katana wielding asshole who dashes around the place. And even worse, this little cunt who crawls up behind you when you're distracted and traps you in a force field, which leaves you as a completely helpless bullet sponge, and ends your run just moments after you got a cool new weapon. These enemies only get even more fun when they become elites, because now they can fly and teleport everywhere, and they can also trap you and snipe you, and they have way more health. There's also a hell of a lot of turrets and drones that either do fuck all or can snipe you for all of your health from a billion light years away. And like any other roguelike, there are a number of bosses you must fight every once in a while, so you best learn their attack patterns if you want to live for more than a second. And finally, there are a bunch of alternate routes you can take, like a garden filled to the brim with bouncing little robot bombs, or an acid and laser filled facility where you spend 90% of your time flying around on your jetpack. These paths typically lead you to a beautiful power crystal which you can use to power your base and gain access to even more upgrades, and it makes the final boss ever so slightly easier, but they tend to be a lot more treacherous. So yeah, that's the gist of Roboquest. I won't talk about it anymore because by this point it should already be in your Steam library, so spoiling every single detail won't be worth a shit to you. Go and play it. Now, I'm planning to make another video soon showing you how to get insanely overpowered with every single run, so you better be ready by then. Good luck.